All right, here is day one of removing all of the wire harness and putting it into the convertible. It's a little scary and intimidating, but I think we can accomplish this. So I'm going to go left fender to the right or left rear and just follow the entire harness just so I have documentation of where all of the wiring connects to. So starting at the front left, you got the ABS brake motor with its giant wiring assembly. One thing to note is there is a ground wire here that is attached to the fender. Gotta make sure we keep track of all of the grounds. Over here we have this emission control valve of some sort that sits right here, and this is for the master cylinder. These two wires here, and then this assembly here goes to the wiper motor, and this goes to an AC line that sits along the firewall. All of that drops down into this hole here at the rear of the engine compartment. And so coming back out, so you drop the ABS line and that ground wire come down through here, and the harness attaches to the inner fender wall. And then I have to disconnect this harness still, which is for the front ABS wheel sensor on the driver's side. So disconnect that and then pull this down from the wiper motor, and then goes into the fender wall here. All right, so we'll look at the passenger side quick. So on this side, we've got two ground wires that are attached up here on the fender. So those are labeled, those go to the fender. These are the two blocks that go into the bottom of the fuse block, and an additional line here for, this one's just labeled AB because on the engine harness, this just sits right here on the fender, I believe. It's part labeled AB, and there's another block that's just labeled AB on the other side. So removing this, remove the grounds. Both of these drop down below. There's some additional harnesses here for the computer and the windshield washer fluid reservoir, which stays down here. So we are attached there. And then you got the big block of harness that goes straight back. Again, we have the right front ABS sensor. So we'll disconnect this, and then it goes into the firewall. The door jamb, big harness goes inside the door jamb. This is staying with the car because the convertible has that set up already, and I don't have to change the wiring in the door. But that sits in here. The wire harness actually pulls out through here. You connect it, and then this gets all pushed back in because it's a really tight space in there. Same on the driver's side. This one's already been disassembled. All right, into the car. Oh. So this is where the right or left fender comes in. Got a whole cluster wires that are here that are already disconnected from the dash assembly. This control module has already been swapped out. But yeah, so coming into the inner fender, or the inside the vehicle here, this is the wire that goes into the door through this hole right here. But basically I just want to scan all of this just so I can see. Again, there's some more ground wires, got to keep track of all of those. Wire harness attaches across the dash like that. And then there's two legs on the passenger side. So it comes across and then it splits. So this portion goes up above. And then this other leg, the larger leg, goes down. And then you've got a third leg, which is this leg that runs across the floor. And then goes over to this computer module, which is something we're switching over. And then, again, two more ground wires. And then you got a line that goes up to the roof, which just comes over to the dome light assembly here. So we'll have to disconnect that one and label that one. All right, so that's the dash assembly. So now you got the two legs that run to the rear. So they run along the door jamb here and go to the back. The only thing on the way is this wire, which is this wire, which goes to the power seats. All right, then we get back here. You got a leg that comes off right here and goes to the fuel pump, which is already disconnected. Oh, no, it's not disconnected. This little guy here is for the seat belt. And then you've got a leg that runs up. And you got a leg here that goes up to the speaker and the rear defrost on the driver's side. And then you got a leg here that drops down in this hole, and that includes all of the ABS sensors and I think a wire for the rear evap canister. And then that line comes up over the wheel well and comes over to this would be the rear tail lights. Again, another ground, and this is some sort of fuel pump shutoff controller of some sort. And then down in this hole is another emissions connector for the evap canister that's underneath the rear. All right, on the passenger side, again, another ground wire. This is the rear tail lights, and this one's an unknown. This was not connected to anything. Then you have a wire harness that comes down from the trunk lid into the vehicle and connects here. And I have that attached up there, and then this is where I've labeled it to the rear. And then this is the speaker wire. And then it goes up into that hole up here, and that's how it feeds into the car. All right, so now we're up above here. That's where that line comes in and then runs down the side here and comes down. That line right there is the passenger side rear defrost line, and then comes down, and then you got the two legs, the one that runs to the back, and then this one runs up to the side. And then we come down like that. Again, that's the seatbelt connection and the line here for the fuel sending unit. And then we have this little block here. Not sure what that is, but that just mounts behind the seatbelt here on this pillar. And then I didn't figure out what this, oh, that attaches to the seatbelt, the lower portion of the seatbelt here. That's what that does. And then again, the wires just run underneath the carpet here. And then now we're back up to that control unit. The only other leg here is this one that goes to the seat, the bottom of the seat on the passenger side. And then one last look at this lower leg on the dash. Comes across and connects to that control unit. And then this goes back, and this goes to the center console. All right, that is a look at everything. And just pray that we can get it all out and get it all back together the way we took it out.